Well, I have three pieces for you. Hopefully, some of these will amuse you. I first wanted to address something that has just been bugging me a little bit. I know many of you are aware that there's 3 years of difference between the age of the current president and the age of the former president, and yet we don't hear it that way at all. So I wrote this. It's called "The Corporatist News Declares Biden Fit to Lose." Son of a gun, they say he should never have run. Instead, they prefer the brutal convict who always in his pocket has another slimy trick. He lies so quick, he lies so fast, you'd swear by God it'd never last. A big bunch of ages that we can see, they all think quite distinct from me. If you think that's sophisticated, you're in the wrong tree. They never call him a convict to quit, and that, my friends, is about the size of it. He steals from charities, from veterans and the poor, betrays contractors, and so much more. He never spent an honest day, and that's what you claim? No more to say. Denies his friends, betrays his people, and lurks outside a church with his name on a Bible. The creep will steal every way and assault some ladies and brag about it. He's so very shady. Brags he can shoot any old man in the street and claims his followers would still think he's neat. Makes common cause with racist thugs, and yet it seems still by far that's not all he does. He never listened to a briefing, never spied a forest that didn't need sweeping, never saw the need of NATO, but lies all day, and that's just not me that says so. He blathers on about brown-stained people, even pursues innocent boys putting ads in papers. A big proponent of Islamophobia, but ask little Jared, who put his wallet at $1 billion from Saudi Arabia. Brags about grabbing women where it hurts, and you say you're shocked, but it gets worse. He pawed and spied on teenage girls, gave his buddy Epstein's island several whirls. He never understood the Constitution, betrayed completely every American institution, backed the court with monarchists. Do you think that's all? We've compiled a list. Mexico never paid for a brick, and his old buddy Bannon pulled a sleazoid trick, stole money for the wall from a bunch of hicks. Claimed he'd chase his political foes. What he'd do with another go at the White House, heaven doesn't know. He wants dictator powers, but just for a day, just for an hour. My friends, I shudder to think what he'd do with that power. His pals have published their little plan to dismantle the government as fast as they can. Keep it from doing anything good, as long as they can keep their hands where they stand under the hood. That's the corporatist news. And then this one is something a little more far out. And I know some of you know that I seem to have an attraction to science, and they're going to address the black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which is known as Sagittarius A. Sagittarius A isn't really far. I took a telescope as big as the Earth to see it nestled exactly where it's berthed. Sagittarius A is mostly dormant and only occasionally gobbles gas or dust, but it sits there slowly spinning right in the midst of all of us. The area of mass, it is no slouch, 1,000,000 times the size of our sun. So if you wanted to carry it away, you need a damn big pouch. The kind of kangaroo to carry it away would take more than a month just to pass this way. Scientists are not completely in the dark about the darn thing and where it's parked. Everything in our galaxy orbits Sagittarius A, even though we measure it's only 26,000 light years away. Two possible mechanisms, or so the theory goes, explain how we think that giant black holes grow. By swallowing massive dust and gas, you see it, or by mergers with smaller holes like 1, 2, 3. Hierarchical mergers like corporate takeovers, resulting in stellar massive holes that never swell the sweetest clover. In 2008, astronomers Reinhard Genzel and Andrea Ghez proved the size of Sagittarius A, or at least that's what they say. Sagittarius A, and this is what they say, has a mass 4.3 million times the size of our sun. So if you see it slurping down an alley towards you, you damn better run. They say she's mostly dormant. That's probably all right. She's sleek as a cormorant and damn hard to see at night. Surrounding Sagittarius A is a massive disk of gas and dust. It occasionally feeds old Sagittarius A to ensure that it doesn't rust. But every time it feeds old Sagittarius A, it gives off the cutest little flashes in the spectrum we call X-ray. The X-ray emissions driven by friction, the accretion disk you see, drives the temperatures exceeding 18 million degrees. Now, I'm not talking Celsius. That's a whole different matter. The temperature in Celsius would be 10 million degrees, That wouldn't hardly flatter the kind of unease. The accretion disk extends 5 to 18 light years around. So to shout across it, you need an awful massive sound. And in a vacuum, yeah, you'd find it'd be a tad profound. And that's on your mind. Our little tiny galaxy, only 13.6 billion years old, they say the tired light contrarians who maintain this because they're bold. So it might be 26 billion, or so I'm told. It's described by many as supermassive, but not to be parochial, this perspective may not last. If we looked around like Shapley did at the cosmic structure, it might not be so large, more than a midget's tiny buckle. And then, for the last piece, we're going to go on a little pictorial, one of my biological poems. This, I'm going to share a screen. Okay, this is called the avuncular aphid. Now, I found out by looking up avuncular, which I'd forgotten, that avuncular refers to like a good uncle. It turns out that there ain't no uncles among the aphids. So here we go. This is the avuncular aphid. The avuncular aphids are primarily from the northern temperate zone. That's exactly where you'll typically find them at home. The little suckers lead an interesting life, but they're never ever husbands and never ever wives. Only a few species are serious pests, but few bother to know that, so you can guess the rest. Their bodies are pear-shaped, you know how that goes. Their cute little heads to the massive down belows, all suspended, of course, on 6 spindly legs. They own 2 exhaust pipes, and on this I won't hedge. 2 exhaust pipes aimed up high, called cornicles, but you know what? I just figured out why. They exude a defensive fluid called cornicle wax, and it's used in defense, and that's the very pungent facts. Many species are green, others are white, yellow, red, pink, brown, black, or mottled. And this doesn't tell all, but after this, I must admit I've been throttled. Some species have color types, red and green, but I would tell you more, but that's all I've seen. When we talk about reproduction, you'll see what I mean. How exactly they do it is downright obscene. They have sucking mouth parts and feed exclusively on sap. Aphids feed on stems, leaves, and even roots, but now you know that to boot. They reproduce rapidly, forming colonies or clumps. And if you're hoping they had a rich sex life, this may drop you in the dumps. Their bodies appear, oh, that's right, I've got that one double. They reproduce rapidly, even that one's, okay. But come springtime, those darlings climb out on the crazy spindly legs, and a couple days later, they're having live birth, and they're not laying eggs. It's live birth for all they're worth. Parthenogenic reproduction is their thing. They don't need a partner to go have a fling. Right off the bat, they go birthing their young without any partner. You see how it's done? Female aphids reproduce for a period of 20 to 30 days, such are their uses, giving birth to from 60 to 100 live nymphs. With so many live births, no wonder they're not blown up like imps. Nymphs quickly mature and can produce within a week. No wasting time for some dating. It's not what they seek. Eggs within these females develop long before birth. No, it's a wonder their babies don't cover the earth. A newly born aphid can contain within herself not only the developing embryos of her daughters, as if that wasn't enough, but also her granddaughters are ready to puff. Aphids can build up a population quite fast. One aphid could produce billions of offsprings. Thank goodness they don't last. Gone by the end of the growing season, and to accomplish all that, she must have a heck of a reason to suit you to the future. So there you go. Hopefully you got a smile.
Indeed, my friend. Thank you so much. On the moment, please.